All right, y'all. So I just finished watching the Orlando Brown and Jaguar Wright interview, right? And when I first started watching it, I can tell you this thing threw me for a whole loop. When I first started watching it, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Them two they're about to come together and expose the industry. I feel like I have been played for a fool, okay? I feel like I have been played for a fool. So I'm just waiting to see how this pans out. Because it's something going on. Something's happening. Let me just tell you, because you have to remember here, Orlando Brown is an actor. He is a trained actor, so he can play any part. He can play any part in this thing. So there's so many possibilities. There's so many possible things that could have been said there. And the thing is, like, he be saying stuff in a way that you don't really know what he's saying unless you're really like paying attention and not paying attention at the same time. Because the way he talks is so, like, I don't even know how to explain it. I've never heard someone talk like that before. But it seems like he's talking in codes, or like Morse code, or some type of other hidden language that only certain people are fluent in. But I may not be able to read that, but I can read energy. I may not know what you're saying, but I can pick up what you're putting down. Now, whether or not what he is saying throughout this interview is accurate or not, he basically seemed like, to me, like they came to interview, or somebody maybe tried to set Jag up. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on right now, because of the fact that it seemed like Orlando came on a mission. Like, he was sent there, he was planted there. Like, he didn't get there by accident. And apparently, you know, the group who's doing the interviews, because it seemed like they were in on it one way or the other, but I don't know which way. It's like, it just, these are all just my these are not allegations, okay? These are not allegations. These are just things that came into my mind that, like, what if this is happening, or what if that is happening? So I'm not saying that any of this is true. I'm not saying that any of this is a fact, okay? I'm just saying that this is what I started to hypothesize, okay? So it just seemed like, like he came there on a mission and a purpose to expose her. That's what it seemed like to me. And then when I started, like, reading down in the comments, and there was a thread where I specifically asked, and, like, I didn't ask them to put their comment out there, so I'm not going to do it. But if they feel comfortable, because if they leave it there, then you can go find it if you want. But there was, like, a thread, and this person was like, you know, I could decode it. And I was like, well, if you do decode it, can you please tag me? And this person is real, because they actually, you know, they tagged me in their decoded version. Because you also have to remember that people, when they're decoding things, they're decoding from their perspective. So that person's decoding what that person understands from the way that person understands it. But it doesn't mean that that's what it is. Because we don't really know what's going on, because I wasn't there, okay? You know. So anyway, he came to basically say, and I'm not saying that this is true. This is what he's saying, from my understanding and from what I surmised from the comments. Okay, I know, right? I can build my way to a story, can't I? But he basically said that you are out here trying to perpetrate a fraud to the people, that you are actually some savior, but you really are a part of the beast that you claim to hate. You are just another cog in the machine, and you are just another distraction, and you were planted so that way when they decide to remove someone else, they can just replace you and make it seem, replace that person, and like you are actually the one who's here to help and save the people, but you are really not. You are really here to cause issues and problems as well. You are really here to be the illusion, so that way the people think that they're free and have a solution, but don't recognize that you are actually part of the matrix that you claim to hate so much. You should know, because you were there and you helped create this all those years ago. Maybe you signed a contract to something and you are now in place, like you've been waiting for this your whole life. And someone commented that maybe they suspect that maybe Jag and Jay-Z were lovers and she's a woman scorned, and because he broke her heart, now she's coming after him, and that perhaps she made an agreement a couple years ago that if, you know, some things transpire, that she'll be next in line. Just be patient and wait your turn. Perhaps that's what happened. Perhaps and perhaps not. I don't know. But it is pretty crazy though. It is pretty crazy though. And it's something to think about. You know, I never believe anybody 100% because everybody has a motive. Everybody has a reason for what they're doing. Everybody has a motive. And I don't know enough about Orlando Brown to decipher his motive. I don't, but also, you know, he brings up some that I don't know Jag enough to believe all what she says either. So, I'm not saying that in one way or the other, but that's what, from what I started to look into, that's what was picked up from what Orlando specifically put down. And that's pretty crazy. And you know, cause I was trying to figure out what was going on. Like, why was he calling Jag mom? And then why did he say what he said about Bow Wow? And then later on say what he said about people doing, like, about her specifically doing things to boys. He said that. He said that. He actually said that. So, you know, and me, I'm very passionate about protecting children. So my energy is already, you know, to that. So when he said that, those things stuck out to me because I felt like that's a really, really, really crazy thing to say. And then when he said about it's not Justin's fault that he was, you know, by Diddy. So he's saying like, don't bash the person who was hurt just because you might have recorded it. That's what he's saying. I'm not saying that that's true. That's what he said. That's what he said. And so I'm kind of just like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I need Shelby Illimack to do a reaction to that. Please. I'm going to tag her. I'm going to be like, day 1 of tagging you. Day 2. Because she could break that down real good. But yeah. Something's going on. He came to expose her. He came to expose her and say, this is what he said. I'm not saying that this is true because we don't know what his motive is either, you know? So I'm just saying this from an objective, you know, unbiased standpoint because I don't know either one of them and I don't know really what happened. But what he said was enough to make me like, because if you can get past the character that Orlando Brown plays in society, because he's basically saying like after this interview we're going to continue this movie, which is this real life. So we're going to pay attention. I'm going to pay attention to what's happening with Jag and the platform in Orlando after this. And then that's why he said like, why are you not shocked that you're all over the place? You were part of this. You knew that your time in the light was coming. You were just waiting. You had to be patient. You knew all of this was coming up. That's why you knew you were going to be on all of these other platforms. You knew you were going to be recording. You knew this. You were playing a part too, you know. And he's basically saying like, this is what he sounded like he was saying. I'm not saying this is what he was saying either, but it sounded like he was saying like, it sounded like he was saying there's a difference in industries somehow. Like when you're an actor and when you're a music artist. It sounded like he was saying that there's something different with those paths. I don't know. But when he really put down the children's thing, that made me uncomfortable and was unsettling, just because there are certain things that I just feel like, I can forgive a lot of things. I can move on from a lot of things. I can have grace about a lot of things. But certain things I can't tolerate. And that's hurting children. Especially in certain ways. I just can't tolerate that around. I just cannot. So when he mentioned those things, my ears immediately perked up, because when you're sensitive and super aware of certain things, like when you are into something, you know what I'm saying, because you're aware, you notice things more. Like if you had I don't, what I'm trying to say? You get what I'm saying. I don't have to explain it. You get it. And if you don't get it, that's fine too. But the point is, like, my ears are perked up for those kinds of things, because I'm just like, what? You ain't just gonna slip that past. We ain't just gonna act like you didn't just say that. So he mentioned Bow Wow. And I just saw a video of Bow Wow saying that his mom basically just like handed him to the industry. And what I peeped was he kept calling Jag mom. And at first I thought, wow, I'm gonna be real. Okay, I'm gonna be real honest. I thought he was saying, oh, that's my mom. Yay. That's my mom. Because it's weird to call someone that's not your mom. It's not like a normal thing. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, why is he calling her mom? But I thought, oh, that's nice. But still, like, why is he calling her mom? And so then when I think about how Bow Wow said that his mom gave him to the industry, I was like, wait a minute, what? And then when he said Bow Wow in the interview, I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? Because remember, Orlando is an actor. He could be playing. He's one of the two things. He's either a really great actor and he's a genius, and not only maybe a genius, but he's trained in certain spaces or something, or he's just, he's just another word that I don't want to, like Kat said in that one interview, my intention is not to like degrade or hurt anybody. So, I don't want to say, but like, it would be like the opposite of that. He's either really on something mentally or, somewhere else. And that's where I'll leave it. But he kept mentioning it, and he is an actor. We know that. We've seen like footage of him acting, so he can play a role. We know that already. He can play a role. So who knows what role he signed up to play in this movie. This is some crazy stuff. He basically said that you thought you got away with what you did. This is what he said. I'm not saying that this is true. Okay. And I'm not saying he said this. I'm saying that this is what I picked up from what he said and from like certain comments as well. Like, don't act like you weren't participating in this. Oh man. And she did have Tiffany's back after that weirdo stuff came out. And she tried to come at Tisa. I don't know, man. See, and that's why, Lord, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Okay. Rejection is protection. Lord, thank you. Thank you. Whew. Thank you. Because sometimes, like, crazy things happen and you be like so upset that thing happened, and it feels like, no, why did this happen? But now, thank you that it happened. Lord have mercy. Ooh, the ghetto. Because regardless, that was a very weird interview. Regardless of whatever else, that was weird energetically. And it was so weird because I was like, wait a minute, because this whole time, my guess in watching this thing play out would have been that Orlando Brown and Jag would have bonded or something. So when they didn't bond, I said, wait a minute. There's something going on here. There's an illusion present. Something's not right. And then, you know what's really crazy, right? You know how the algorithm be algorithm. I seen a video that accused Jaguar Wright of being Iyanla Vanzant. I was like, what is going on? So this is some like, I'm just throwing all this stuff out there. I'm not saying anything is real or not. I'm not saying I believe any of this either, but it's a lot of weird stuff happening. And that interview totally threw, like, I was like, wait a minute, because I just knew that they were gonna connect and be and bond on with this, but they didn't. In fact, it seemed like Jaguar left mad. AF. And the reason why I say, was he acting, was because at first he was like he was lit the whole interview, but then he was really stern and serious out of nowhere. It was like such a change. So I was like, was this dude drinking apple juice this whole time? Like, am I tripping? I started thinking, am I tripping? Watching, do my eyes deceive me? Like, what is going on here? Whatever it was, it caused my instincts to perk up and really start paying attention and going through the comments and like, am I the only, because sometimes you be seeing stuff and you be thinking like, am I the only person that's seeing this stuff, or like, am I tripping? So when I started going to the comments, part of me was like, nah, I'm tripping, because half of the people was like, nah, tripping. But then there was other people in there that was thinking the same thing I was thinking. That was like, nah, I'm talking like I really be talking too. So, I'm serious. I'm not cold with up on this thing, because I was really thrown that much. I don't really be talking like this. And this is like my natural, as my mama would, not mom like these people Hollywood talking about, like my actual biological mom says, and the mom who loves and nurtures me says that, that's that she be calling it our natural dialect. So I guess I'm speaking my natural dialect, and I gotta go tell her that she was right. Okay, and I get it now what she was talking about. But I was like, am I really hearing what I think I'm hearing? Because for the longest, I thought I was tripping. I really thought I was tripping. Because I was like, no, he did. Because when he brought up Bow Wow, it seemed like it was out of nowhere. So I was like, why he bring that up? And so then, as stuff is going on, like, I'm really like listening to what's going on, and I'm like seeing it too at the same time. And so it'll be like stuff that didn't make no sense to me, but it seemed like she understood what he was saying. And it seemed like the people recording also understood what they were saying. So I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So there's so many possibilities. There's so many ways that I was like, well, it could be this, it could be that, it could be this, it could be that, it could be this, it could be that, it could be this, it could be that. It could be that Orlando is the character he plays. Flat out. Or it could be that he is playing a character. And he came on a mission. And it could be that he did that, and that the production crew is in on it somehow. The people who record the interviews are in on it somehow. They're either in on it with Orlando, or they're in on it with Jag. But something about that Berry Gordy comment switched up the vibe in the room. And it was like, it seemed like Orlando realized, it seemed like either he realized, oh, you're in on it too. Or, you didn't know they in on it too. Something about that Berry Gordy comment threw him for a loop, perhaps. Or he was pretending to be thrown for a loop because he's an actor. So he acted like he was, because that was such a large emotion. Perhaps he was just acting like he didn't know what was going on. I don't know. Okay. But Because those are just things that possibly. But what I do know is energetically, they did not leave off as compadres. And then we like, because then it's like, well, even, okay, so let's say that perhaps Orlando Brown is a, in with a group, okay? Is he in on the group that's trying to help or elude? Like, we don't really know. So what it really made me think is, I'm going to keep focusing on what I'm doing and keep focusing and doing my part to put what, but it also just left me kind of like, what is happening? And like, to some point, do I even want to know? Probably not. Like, do I even really want to know what's going on with this sugar honey iced tea? Probably, I don't know. Probably not. It's just like when I was younger and there was a lizard in the toilet and I didn't know it was really there. And it was because, they always just like pull pranks on me. So I was like, nah, and at the same time, it's like, I ain't afraid of no lizard. But now when I went, there really was a lizard in the toilet and I screamed and like ran and like took off. So, no, it wasn't in the toilet. It was in the living room. And then I think they put it in the toilet. I don't remember, but somehow there was a lizard somewhere in the house. I believe it was in the toilet. But anyway, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think I really want to know. Because I didn't really, like, I thought I wanted to know. Like, I'm speaking crazy. I thought I wanted to know what the lizard, that, there's a lizard until I'm not afraid. But no, I didn't want to see it. So I don't think I really want to know what's going on, personally. Because he put some interesting things out there. And I don't know. And then I seen, because then he called Jaguar Jay-Z. Why did he call her that? Because he associates similar energies. He's not talking to people. He's talking to energies. Seem like, that's why I'm thinking, like, is he trying? Okay. But anyway, he associates people with other people. So he was, and I'm not saying that it's true either, but that's what he seemed like he was saying. That's what I've observed. So anyway, he's like, you are this person. You are that person. You are this person. Like, why did he call her Jay-Z? Because he was saying, you are the person that you are Jay-Z. Like, what are you mad about? And just like he's saying, like, Kim Porter, that's like he said Kim Porter was Diddy. Because I was like, why did he say that? I think he was saying that that's because you was with that dude just like she was with him. You were with him. So therefore you are him. That's what it seemed like. That's why I'm like, is he really just like a real, he on some stuff that we can't even comprehend for real. And so it made me start thinking, am I tripping? Have I been tripping? Man. I feel like low-key, I feel like someone took off my head and I'm like, oh shoot, for real. Is that for real? Because if that's for real, that is sick. And I would be, man, nah, like for real though. Like if you take away the theatrics of the character that Orlando Brown said is, and you really just like listen to the stuff he's saying, it was enough to make me like, wait a minute, Jag, wait a minute. What's up with you whole time? What's up with you? What you been up to? That's what it made me think. And I'm not saying it just put that thought. So he came, and that's why I feel like he came on a mission. He didn't just come there just to be there. He came for a reason. And he was like, nah, you want to talk about X, Y, and Z, I'm going to put you on blast. Now, what was his reason for doing that is the question. Was he trying to put her on blast because she should have been on blast? Or was he trying to put her on blast because he was trying to silence her? You know, it started to make me feel like he was leaning the other direction, but I don't know, for real. So, but he came for a reason to sow seeds of doubt in the minds of the viewers about her, and he was successful in doing that, period. Now, what team does he play for? Are they on the same team whole time? And is this just a psyop and a distraction? You know, you feel me? To get us talking about them too, because he wants in on the stardom boat that she on. I don't know. Everybody could be involved, but what it did recognize is that, like, you know, we don't really know what's going on behind closed doors. We be so quick to jump because of the programming. We'd be so quick to jump and be like, you know, this person is this because this is what they portray, but we don't really know what's up. I seen another video talking about how Chloe Bailey and had the same like looking outfit that Jaguar Wright has the picture on the shirt. If you look at the shirt and then you look like it just came up on my TikTok. The algorithm be algorithming, man. It just came on the TikTok and they selling that shirt for $79. Are you crazy? You out your mind? Why am I going to buy a t-shirt with somebody else's face on it for $80? You tripping. So I thought that was weird. So I don't know, man. And right after the Pierce interview, it's like perhaps he was like, I'm trying to be on too, and knew that people was going to be looking her name up. So they come together and they're like, you know, we're going to put this show on, you know, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. So perhaps they was in on it. We don't. It did cause me to be a little bit like, with her as well. Don't mean that I'm not going to like keep, you know, don't mean I'm not going to like pay attention to what goes on, but I'm going to be paying attention to what happens after this interview, one way or the other, just to see which thing is perhaps correct. But like the thing is with that, like stuff be changing so much, we don't know what's going on. Like Brother Panic in his book, The Law's Dark Power, I'm gonna have to read that again. I should do a book club for that. He was talking about something like, you don't really know what these people own. They've been doing this stuff planning this stuff out years in advance. Look at how much behind the Simpsons is from what's going on. You know, they behind the timeline is from what they be saying on the Simpsons sometimes. So it's basically like we don't really know how far in advance this thing has been planned out. So for real, trying to figure out what's going on over there is a waste of time. But you could just be figuring out what's going on in your space. But at the same time, I think that, you know, that didn't happen for no reason. So I'm just curious to know what's going on there. But, you know, I got to read that book again because, you know, he was basically saying, like, don't be trying to be all up in that mess. You know, just focus on what you can do, because the more powerful you are as an individual, as an entity, the more powerful you can be for those immediately around you. And then the more powerful they can be in return as well. And then from there, you can be more powerful to your community. And the community can be more powerful to you. So start with where you are. You know, start within yourself. That's what you can help. You can help everybody else around you by becoming the best you can be, because then you could show up better for everybody else. Then suddenly you do have the energy to work on your business. Suddenly you do have the energy to accomplish something. Suddenly you do have the energy to get up and do what you said you were going to do, because you are taking care of you as well. You're not leaving you up to chance, you know? And that's all you can do, for real. No amount of comments is going to change perhaps what's happening in other places. But what can change is you becoming a better you, because if you become a better you, you'll be a better you for everybody else too. So self-care is not selfish. And so that's what I took away from this, because ultimately there are so many possibilities, and it just was so like, what? That it made me think like, oh no, they got this taken care of. Because then when he said, Real Life, I can't remember who said it first, but either Real Life asked about like, do they need to stomp out this some kind of a agenda, whatever. And then Orlando was basically saying like, nah, we got this. It's already been taken care of, partner. So like, that made me think, okay, they must be in on it. But at the same time, because I wasn't in the room when this part of the movie was playing, I don't know what the fuck is going on there. I've been saying it could be this, it could be this, it could be this, it could be that, it could be this, it could be that. So when things, I always be like, when things are not clear, I just tend to just swoop, because certain things, that's when I know this is none of my business. I don't know what is going on there, but I do know what's going on within me, and I do know that I can keep improving myself and keep making as many healing spaces as I possibly can and become as successful as I possibly can, so that I can help children, because that's where my concern is. That is where my like heart lies, is making sure that I'm doing my part to help and serve the children, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing, period. And if you know what I'm doing, then you know what I'm doing. If you don't know what I'm doing, it's okay too. Because we ain't got to tell everybody what's going on. Shoot, if you figure out, you figure out. That's the universe's job. But for me, as long as I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, that's what it is. And this video actually I feel more free, honestly, after watching it. Part of watching it, I was like, for like the first 30 minutes, and I had to take a break. I usually can watch interviews all the way through, but I was so like beside myself with this interview, right? I was like, I gotta take a minute. And I slept, and then I woke up, and I watched it. And by the time I woke up, some more people had commented. But it gave me freedom as well, because at the same time, like, what I know I can do is make the best content that I can make, be the most authentic version of myself in spaces that I can be that, be the character version of myself in spaces where I need to be that, and just play my role. Because one way or the other, there's some weird stuff going on. Either way, no matter who was really speaking the most accurate truth, the most accurate storyline from that saga that we just witnessed, it's some weird stuff going on. There's some weird stuff going on over there. And I was like, oof, Lord. Okay. And that's why I be telling, the young ones that I'm around, I be like, look, everybody has a motive. Everybody you interact with has a motive for interacting with you. What is it? Don't be listening to what people say, because they're going to tell you anything. I always be thinking, like, when I'm around somebody, what images pop into my mind when I'm near that person? If I don't feel at ease around that person, I'm not going to let my guard down around them. Because there are some people that I look at and I think, wow, they look like a real, like, I like that person's shoes, or I like this, or, and I don't be catching those stray energy-wise. And there are other people that I see myself taking my pepper spray and spraying them right in the MFing face, in the eyes. So so if I see something like that, then I'd be thinking like, okay, something's up with you. That's my instincts telling me, okay, something's up with this person. So, self-care is recognizing when your energy is like, something smells weird here. Something's going on here. So, that's what you could do. You could protect yourself. You could protect your legacy. You could protect your family that respects you. You can respect yourself more. You can take care of yourself more, because something's going on over there. But you know what? You can help the people directly around you. You can help your community, because something's going on in your community too. And something's going on in your household too. There's something directly around you. Something's going on with you too. So you might not be able to help the kids up in Hollywood, but you can help the kids in your house. You can help the kids in your neighborhood. You can help the kid in yourself. You can help the inner child in yourself. You might not be able to help the whole world. And that's how you feel weak, because you can't help the whole world. You can't be everywhere at once. As much as you might want that superpower, it's not what you are at this particular point in this situation that we call life. There's an inner child inside of you that needs healing. I'm 90% certain of it. And if that's not the case, there's a child around you somewhere in your community, in your household, that could use some loving, some love the right way, you know. There's a spouse perhaps around you that could use some love. I'm going to say love because I don't want to be misunderstood. You know, there's a cashier at your grocery store. You know what I'm saying? Like, people always want to pay tithes to random people you don't know and give it to the places far away. You know, help your community too. I'm sure there's a shelter near you that might could use some money. I'm sure there's a shelter near you that might could use some volunteers. I'm sure there's a organization near you that might could use some help. You know, you want to help things, do it then. Shoot. Stop talking about what you want to do and do it. Be the change you want to see up in this MFer. If you want to see more people getting help some more people then. Do what you're talking about. Help yourself first. You can't do nothing for nobody else if you ain't got nothing. You just giving somebody else a whole bunch of nothing. Well, that's great. But if you got something, you got something to give too. And you got something to keep. Something of what you make is yours to keep. That's in the richest man of Babylon. You know, 10% of what you get is yours to keep. You can get 10% away to charity, to charitable causes. And my version of charity is who I feel like I want to help at the time. It might not always be money. It might be time. It might be going out and doing something nice for somebody, getting somebody something nice, you know, impacting the people that impact me, doing something nice for those around me, doing something nice for my family, those who love me. You feel me? You know, you do what you can. Period. And you don't let nobody tell you what you're supposed to do just because they on a screen, because we don't really know who these people are for real. We don't know. We just know the character that these MFs be playing on screen. And the screen, including the public eye. That's who we know. We don't know who they really are. A lot of these people even got fake names. You know, Marilyn Monroe's name wasn't Marilyn Monroe. It was like Mary something. That was not her name. Marilyn Monroe was a character she played. So, and you know, for real, with people in general, you don't really know them. You know the character they play around you. You might not even really know the character you play around other people. So develop that. Who do you want to be? Are you tired of being disrespected? Well, stop being disrespected then. How about that? Put your foot down. And then act on it. Don't just say, I'm going to take your phone. Take the phone. And don't give it back. Period. When you put your foot down, you put your foot down. But then also, as Jim be saying, don't shoot a grenade at a bunny. Either. Figure out the proper ways to respond to things. If it's not that big of a deal, don't make it a big deal. Because then when you say stuff, it does not taken seriously, because you always going off. So nobody listens to what you say because you always going off. You're the boy who cried wolf. You know? And that's why I be saying, like, that's what you can do. You can work on you. You got enough to work on. You're a puzzle, man. You got enough. It's hard enough finding the end pieces of the dang on puzzle. And you gotta put this thing back together, because somebody came and obstructed your puzzle. Perhaps your parents did. Perhaps the people around you did. Somebody came and threw all the pieces all around. Now you gotta search around the room for the pieces, because they came and flipped the board over And now you got to go find all the pieces again. So you already got to do that. If you not doing that, though, and you running around trying to help everybody else find their pieces, your puzzle ain't never going to get put together. It's nobody else's responsibility to put your puzzle together. It's not fair to you that your puzzle, someone came and threw your puzzle on the ground, but it happened. It wasn't fair to you, but that's what occurred. And the sooner we address that all of us who exist have puzzles of our own to be putting together. And that's where your power is. That's why it's so important to protect your peace by any means necessary. If that means cutting somebody off, if that means ending contact, if that means increasing contact. Cut people off if they're not helping your cause. If every time you put the puzzle together, someone comes back and shakes it all up and you got to start all over again, at some point it switches from them doing it and you allowing them to do it. You have, at some point in your life, you will have the option to be like, I'm not going to allow you to throw my puzzles around anymore. Not again. You got to go. You're not allowed around here. And then you have to mean it. You have to say what you say, or don't say it and just act on it. And you have to be clear and concise when you deliver certain messages. And also sometimes things just fade away. But if you don't want something to persist in your experience anymore, you cannot tolerate it. You cannot say, and just throw around empty threats. This and this and that. Because the more empty threats you throw around, the less people take you seriously, because you never actually act on it's like being the chihuahua. You got all that bark, but you don't really bite down for real. You don't really bite down for real. Because you might feel small. You might have been hurt so much that inside you feel like a little chihuahua. You feel small. And that's not your fault. And it's unfortunate that that's how you might have felt because of what you might have experienced. That's very not great. And though, it's possible to evolve and heal that. That's why I'm saying, that's why I be making all these freaking videos, man. I ain't trying to be hurting nobody's feelings. I'm trying to help people. But for a long time, my message was diluted. Because remember what I said, people decode things and people deliver messages based on where they are. I was angry too. So I would say stuff and it didn't come across the way that I originally intended, because I would get lost in my own emotions and in my own feelings. But I've evolved past that now, for the most part. Even when I am all right, I'm able to and still deliver what I'm seeking to say in the way that I'm intending on it to land. And sometimes, I trigger a minefield, but at least I know that was not my intention. That perhaps might have been the result, but I also know myself well enough to know that I'm okay with that too. Because, I had to, sometimes you got to be offended to recognize that perhaps there's a change that needs to be made there, and that's okay. But, your word has to carry weight, because you don't allow people to mistreat you and walk all over you, but you also don't react and cause chaos because you're finally unhappy, because you let all this other stuff slide. And I've been there. So that's why I can say it so callously or whatever, because I used to do that. But, I started reading and listening specifically to Jim Rohn, because he teaches about that a lot. And, recognizing where your power lies in. recognizing that you ain't got no power over people all over the way over there. You better got power over your own self. So, figure out how you operate the best and then do the necessary things to have you operate at your optimal capacity, period. And, wasting time being sad about something you can't control is a waste of time. But if you say you care about something, you have the capacity now to do something, at least around you. Do something with those that are around you first. You try to help everybody else. You need help. I need help. I'm talking to me too. You feel me? Because sometimes I need reminding myself, because after watching that interview, I was like, wait a minute, chicken dinner. It took me way off. I was like, well, hold on. And it caused me to be like, more like, you know what? I just got to focus on what I'm doing. Because I know that that's the way I can make an impact. That's the way that I can cause change. Because for real, if there is some weirdo stuff going on with children, I do want to help to resolve that. I don't like that at all. Because for real, that's just sick to me. Sick. And it make it, that like stuff don't really make me angry, for real. It do. Sometimes I'd be like, what? But that makes me angry. And I feel like that's a righteous rage. That's a righteous anger. You don't, with kids? Are you serious? Are you freaking serious? So I ain't trying to say like, Jag, this ain't even about that interview anymore. This is just about kids in general. I don't with that at all. There's things that I can, you feel me? I can get over certain things. You feel me? Like, if you rob somebody, I can get over that. It's not ideal. It's not something that I'm like, okay, let's do that again. No way. No. But I can move past that. I can't with the kids, man. That's just, that ain't right. That just ain't right. You can't be out here hurting kids. You just can't. What the, man? That's way crazy. That's way crazy. So, that's really what I was paying attention to. And then I recently came across this lady named Allie Carter, man. I wasn't even trying to find her. Shoot, man. I wasn't even trying to find her. She just came across my feed, man. I was like, what the fuck is this? And when I watched it, I said, man, now, I ain't finna get all up in that, because I'll take us to a whole nother place, and I ain't trying to do all that. But what I will say is, if you watch it, and like major trigger warning, because I was like, whoa, wait a minute. And yeah, man. Talking about party favors and stuff. And I was like, is that why they call that? That's why it's pizza? Man. And then I came across a video on TikTok where there were pictures of people, of women specifically, in a freaking warehouse and stuff. Man. That, like I said, there's just some things I can't F with you if you on that. I just can't. It's something in my spirit that just don't sit right, because like there's some stuff, but that's evil. That's sick. That is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And ridiculous, because you ruining a child. That's sick. Absolutely. Man, whew. That I'm getting angry about this, thinking about it. Because, like, how dare you hurt a child in that way? How dare you? And then, like, for real, what really gets me upset is when people know that is going on, and then they try to make the child out to be wrong. Of course, these kids be acting up. Of course, look at what they was dealing with. Of course, when they become adults, they act up. But you ain't try to help them when they was kids. But you got so much to say now. And I got people in my family that be doing that stuff, man. And I don't talk to them no more. I be serious. Like, I can't deal with, I don't like that stuff. I don't like it. I don't like that. You wasn't there to protect, but you got so much to say with the result. You got so much to say. And you know what happened. You know what you did. And you mad at it, like you shaming this person. They have lucky to be alive. Lucky to have what the capacity that they have. You got so much to say. But you knew what was going on in that house with them. I'm not talking about my personal experience, by the way. I'm talking about things that I've observed. You knew what was going on. And you didn't say nothing. But now when that child becomes older, you want to judge them. I don't with that, man. I don't with that. I don't F with people that do nasty stuff to kids. I don't F with it. And I have a very, very compassionate heart for people who have grown up and were hurt by adults. I don't with that, man. And for real, those children who have that, they have a lot to heal from, and that just ain't right. It just ain't right. And I tell you, man, if I was running this Mickey flick, man, the things that I would do to those people and enjoy it. So at the same time, you know, with all that being said, that interview was impactful for me. And, you know, if you do watch it, don't watch it from a space of judging Orlando Brown or Jack. But watch it from a space of, what is he saying? What did he just say about her? Because to be called someone who does weird things to kids, that's what it sounded like he said. I'm not saying that that's what he did, but to be called that is alarming. And not immediately put it to rest. Because she didn't say she didn't do what he said, what he claimed that she did to Usher. She didn't say he didn't do it. She didn't do it. She talked over him and tried to change the subject. I'll be dang dong, ding dong, dang, ding doo doo, if somebody come up in here saying I did some crazy stuff like that. Don't put me in the mix with that bull stuff. I'll be dang dong diddly dong messed up. Got me bent, twisted, backways, sideways, front, bold, italicized, underlined, colored yellow. Crazy bent, twisted, messed up to the side. Dry, laid, and I don't know, fried. And I'm not going to address it. What the did you just say? She didn't expand on it, but she want to talk about everybody else. That's what made me think, wait a minute. Cause that was a weird thing to say, and she didn't inquire. Why did you say that? Why are you talking about Bow Wow? Cause that's so random, and she didn't even acknowledge it. She didn't even pay it any mind. But she always got so much to say, so it made me think. Wait a minute, and to be real, if Orlando did experience even half of what I perhaps he experienced, of course that dude is on some other stuff. What the fuck is wrong with these people, man? Shoot. Anyway, that's why I just focus on yourself. And not only that, but because if you can really build you up, if you can become a success in your own right, you can make a difference. You actually can make a difference. And if enough people that are on some real stuff come together, the whole will change. But it's not going to change by being depressed and upset and not moving. If you sad and you depressed and you keep moving, kudos to you. Okay? Because you have that option. And it will likely eventually change slowly, but slowly. And you won't feel as sad. You won't feel as depressed because you are doing something. You are serving a higher purpose other than yourself, because you are giving to yourself. You are already taken care of. You put your puzzle together. Now, when your puzzle is together, you put your defenses up. You don't just leave your puzzle. Just like with a garden, you don't just plant the food and then leave and then expect nobody to come and eat your stuff. You plant your garden, you put your fences up, and then perhaps you plant a garden in the forest or garden somewhere else so that people don't need to come eat your stuff. But you don't just leave your garden alone, unattended, and then think nobody's gonna come and F with you. The bugs gonna come if a person don't. The rain might not come, so you gotta come put water in. You feel me? You gotta take care of what you have before you ask for more. As a bare minimum, take care of what you have to the utmost, and recognize that you are your greatest gift to yourself, and the greatest gift you can give to yourself is yourself, your whole self, finding them puzzle pieces around you. And when you ask for help from the right people, because you don't want to ask somebody who's really there to steal your puzzle pieces and leave, and then you're never going to finish your piece because they done stole them. That's not what you want. If you're going to have somebody help you, vet them MFers properly, okay? Before you even let them in the room to help you look. Before you even let them sit down at the table, vet them. I say guilty until proven innocent, baby. That's how I'm at. That's why I'm at with it right now. Everybody's guilty until you proven innocent. F that innocent until proven guilty stuff. You guilty to me already. I don't know guilty of what, but you guilty because you have a motive. Now, later on, perhaps you're not guilty. But I'm always guilty until proven innocent. Period. All right, that's it.